The old man stood barefoot on the village path every morning, toes pressing into the same dust he had known for decades. The earth there was worn by habit, packed down by years of footsteps that no longer came. When people passed, he smiled, not wide, not forced, just enough to seem gentle, just enough to seem whole. The villagers called him kind. They said he never complained, that he fixed broken stools with patient hands, replaced missing roof tiles before the rain arrived, and listened when people spoke as if their words mattered. Children waved to him on their way to school. Elders nodded with quiet respect. To them, he was something steady in a world that kept changing. What they didn't see was how every morning began the same way. He woke before the sun, not because he needed to, but because his body still remembered another time. He would sit up slowly on the edge of his bed, listening, always listening, for footsteps in the next room, for the scrape of a chair, for a familiar voice calling his name, asking something small and ordinary. Have you seen my sandals? Is the water boiling? Nothing ever answered. The house remained silent, just as it had been for years. Once, that house had been too loud. Laughter spilling through thin wooden walls, dishes clinking, arguments that ended in soft apologies. A life built from many voices overlapping, interrupting, existing together. He remembered coming home tired and annoyed, only to feel it fade the moment he opened the door. Back then, silence was something that arrived late at night, gentle and earned. Now, silence lived there permanently. It sat in every corner. It slept beside him. He moved through his mornings carefully, as if noise might disturb something fragile. He boiled water for 1 cup of tea, though he still set out 2 cups out of habit before correcting himself. He swept the floor even when it was clean. He folded blankets no one else would use. Outside, the village carried on. The huts still leaned into one another like old friends. The trees grew taller. Birds nested where they always had. Seasons passed without asking permission. The world, he learned, does not pause for absence. Sometimes he stood on the path longer than necessary, watching people come and go, not because he expected anyone, but because once, someone always came back. Once, this path meant returns, the sound of running feet, the rhythm of familiarity. Now it only led away. In the afternoons, he worked with his hands. Fixing what was broken made sense. A cracked stool could be mended, a loose nail could be driven back into place. Objects, at least, followed rules. They responded to effort. People did not. At night, he sat near the doorway, looking out at the hills as the sky dimmed. He spoke sometimes, quietly, not to anyone in particular, just small observations. The weather, a memory that surfaced without warning. He did not expect replies. Speaking kept the silence from winning too completely. Grief had changed him, but not in the ways people expected. He did not cry in public. He did not grow bitter. He did not collapse under the weight of it. Instead, it settled into him like dust, fine, constant, invisible to those who didn't look closely. The smile helped. Smiling made people comfortable. It meant they didn't ask questions. It meant they didn't lower their voices around him, or offer pity he didn't know how to accept. The smile was not happiness. It was armor. A way to move through the day without breaking open. Some evenings, when the village grew quiet, he allowed himself to remember fully. Not just faces, but sounds. Laughter echoing down the path. The way his home once felt too small for all the life inside it. Those memories hurt, but they also reminded him that the silence had not always been there. That something real had existed. And so he continued. Each morning, barefoot on the dusty path. Each greeting offered gently. Each day survived without complaint. Some losses do not scream. They do not demand attention. They do not announce themselves. They stand quietly in the shape of an old man, smiling softly, waiting, carrying a lifetime no one else can see.